So there's another one of these fake salesman alpha retards that's blowing up at the moment. Just when you get rid of one, another one pops up in their place like a retarded hydra, who just so happens to also be bald like the last alpha guy. Apparently this dude's been blowing up for a while now, but the only reason that I even know who this guy is because of this news story about his very strange, almost harassment requirement for his employees, which is another thing. He's definitely got some kind of power fetish, but that's a given, I guess. But anyway, his requirement is that his employees have to be shredded, and no, he's not running a bodybuilding competition, so I have no idea how this guy thinks he can enforce this. There's no way that you can make an employee do that, and he says that he fires his employees if they don't have their six-pack. Okay, so like I said, his business hasn't got anything to do with working out. He's a car salesman, for fuck's sake. So apparently having a six-pack is all it's needed to sell cars. I didn't know that you had to be ripped to sell cars. I also didn't know that you could tear off your shirt and show your abs to your customers, because that's the only way I can think of that this shit could actually help you sell cars. Also, if you're behind the desk as a receptionist, do you need to be ripped too? Plus, having a six-pack doesn't mean that you're actually healthy. Not that this guy actually cares about the health of his employees, but it isn't just the roids that I'm thinking of. All these bodybuilders are pushed to have like 5% of your body fat year-round. I mean, some malnourished people have six-packs, so that's not really discipline unless you're on a hunger strike, or you're trying to remake The Machinist. I want some skinny malnourished guy to show up and try and get a job there. He's got a six-pack, doesn't he? I thought that's all that was required to sell cars these days. Oh, I guess he has to also be bald as well. He's telling his employees that they need to step up to keep their jobs. I mean, what can you really expect from a guy like this? You can't expect a salesman to care about anyone. We know what they're like to their own customers, so this is the treatment that you should expect to come to their employees. That's basically what happens. If you scam your customers, then your employees are basically slaves or dirt to you. I mean, coming from their perspective, why would they treat their employees better than their customers? This guy sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen. He's openly talking like this. He's the kind of guy that definitely has some shady shit going on in his past, which if he becomes the next internet punching bag for an extended period of time, I'm sure we'll find out what exactly that is. And I don't just mean ripping people off, or that he lies about how he made his fortune. Those are things that he's already been accused of, but those are a given in his line of work. But you probably don't have to think very long about what that is, as this whole thing begs the question, how would you even know that someone has a six-pack? Because there's only really one way that you can know for sure that someone has a six-pack, and that would be to make them lift up their shirt, which if an employer asks their employees to lift their shirts up and show off their bare body, that could count as sexual harassment. And everyone's been ripping into this guy who looks like he was a cop at some point. He reminds me of someone from that show The Unit. There's a bunch of jokes you can make about guys like this. Like, why is every tough guy fitness salesman / pyramid schemer bald? Do they all come from the same factory? Does the stress from being a divorced dad make them all lose their hair at the same time? Having to go through all of those divorce cases probably creates a midlife crisis where you think you're One Punch Man. It's almost hacky at this point to say that, but their gimmick is so hacky, I think it's fair game. And he's making the same old jokes about his haters, which is that they live in their mum's basement, and they're losers, and everyone is jealous of him because he's so great. But this guy's a car salesman. He'd be more respected if he was a multi-level marketer. These are the first people that come to mind when anyone thinks of a scammer or just a piece of shit businessman. It's a car salesman. Well, since snake oil salesmen were a thing. And with this ripped salesman vibe, he just comes off as a gimmick. He's a walking billboard for the cringiest shit on the internet. This get-rich-quick alpha, beta, omega shit, which isn't really real, by the way. He speaks like a motivational speaker, some self-help guru.
Is this life, yes or no? Yeah. Guys, listen to me. This is why salespeople fucking suck. No, listen to me. This is why people fucking hate salespeople. This is why. And no disrespect. You came here today to get great. So listen, I love them. Yep. But I fucking, at one point in time, didn't make any money either. I wasn't making a lot, and I was a fucking amateur. Okay? Listen to me. People hate salespeople because they want you to take the pressure off them and give them reasons and excuses why they should do it right fucking now and give them the courage to say yes today. We're not doing that. So when we don't do that, there's a fucking problem. Am I right?
And in this short, he's talking about why people hate salespeople, but doesn't have the self-awareness to realize that part of that is that salespeople are fake, and they'd sell their own mum if they could. They don't give a fuck. And that's exactly how this guy comes off. Why do all of these guys sound the fucking same? It's like a TV show in the 50s. They all sound the same. I swear, TikTok and YouTube shorts especially were created for young people, but mostly motivational speakers, and that could explain why everyone is so fucking dumb at the moment on the internet. So we can check out some of his other content, but it's all the same shit. You've seen one video, you've seen them all. He has this video, the 3 steps to getting someone to say yes, and the first comment is someone roasting him, which is always a good sign. His regular face is a natural thumbnail screenshot you can't resist watching because he looks so intense and psycho. Yeah, that's a pretty good description of this guy.
All right, guys, it's Andy Elliott. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about 3 keys to getting a yes. Now, remember this, okay? If you can get your clients to say yes, then they're going to buy. If they say no, your goal is to frame your words differently to get them to say yes. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do that. Check this out.
He also has this lion roar at the intro too, because he's such a beast. I feel like MGM should just sue him for that.
So number 1 is completely going to be confidence. It's going to be you being the authority. Never forget that. You're going to get 80% more yeses when they see you as authority.
So his first tip is so fucking obvious. Is there any substance to this? Or is this all going to be pickup artist level advice? You've got to have confidence, otherwise no one's going to listen to you. Oh, obviously. Like, this is the most surface level bullshit I've ever heard.
Hey guys, what's going on? It's Andy. A lot of you leave comments telling me that you need help. Do me a favor. I'm going to tell you the best way to get a hold of me. Shoot me a text message right now, 918-210-0254. 918-210-0254. I'll help you with whatever you need. I got your back for life. Let's get back to the video.
And then he gives out his number. He wants you to ask for advice, so that was a sneaky little sales trick. Make people think you're their friend so that you can get them to do what you want. In this case, it's engagement. And then he hooks you in so that you can join one of his training programs. And shouldn't there be some kind of regulation on these courses? Like, does this guy actually have any degree? And of course he claims to not only be the best salesman, he's the #1 salesman in the entire world. Like, can that actually be verified? He pretty much goes on like how you'd expect. I notice this is also something that salesmen do. It's this thing where they try and grab your attention of the audience by throwing out an idea that at first sounds antithetical to what they're trying to achieve.
By the way, do me a favor. Write this down. Stop selling. Start helping people.
Stop selling, he says, and then follows it up by saying, help people. Does this guy sound like he wants to actually help people? He's a car salesman. The only positive thing about this is that he's pretty much scamming future salespeople, which is pretty funny to me. The problem is that people think that they can really apply the things that these guys say, and then they convince themselves that they're just like this guy, when in reality, this guy, or at least a lot of these other types of guys, have started off as rich, and they don't really have anything to lose, unlike you, who does. You could lose everything trying to copy this fucking bullshit that they talk about. So there you go, another turd that needs to get flushed down the fucking toilet bowl. Why are there so many of these guys, these Andrew Tate types? Do we really need more of this same guy? I'm sick of seeing this same guy. Can you make somebody else in that fucking factory of people you've got? But anyway, that's what's been on my mind. You can all piss off now. Get out of here. I'm sick of seeing you. Get out. Get.